Hi there. My name is Maddie Brooks. I built a $50 million brand from the ground up. Every late night, every sacrifice, every ounce of ambition I had, I poured it into that company. And for what? To be called useless by my own sister. To have my father look me in the eye and tell me I didn't deserve the empire I created. Started with whispers. Strange glances at a corporate gala that was supposed to be my celebration. Then came the boardroom ambush. Sam, my sister, my blood, standing there with legal documents that stripped me of my title, my legacy, and even my father's loyalty. He didn't stop her. He stood by and watched as I lost everything. They thought I'd disappear, that I'd break, that I'd quietly accept my fate and fade into the background. But they forgot one thing: I built this company once, and I can take it back. The evening air was crisp as I stepped out of the black town car, my heels clicking against the marble pavement leading to the grand entrance of the Atoria. The gilded doors swung open, revealing a ballroom drenched in opulence. Gold chandeliers casting a soft glow over crisp white tablecloths, the air carrying the faint scent of expensive champagne and polished ambition. This was supposed to be my night. Brooke & Company had just secured its largest international deal, and I'd spent the past 2 years orchestrating every detail. The contracts, the negotiations, the endless hours. It had all led to this moment. But the moment I walked in, something felt off. The warmth I expected from familiar faces was gone. Instead, there were stolen glances, hushed conversations that fell silent the second I passed. Investors I'd spent years building relationships with gave me polite, distant nods. A quiet unease curled at the edge of my thoughts, but I pushed it aside. This was my success, my night. Derek appeared at my side almost immediately, a glass of whiskey in hand. His sharp gaze flickered over me, like he could already sense the tension beneath my calm. "You're late," he said, voice low, "just for me." I smirked, lifting my chin. "Not late. Just arriving with impact." He exhaled through his nose, unimpressed. "Something's going on, Maddie. I don't like it." "Relax," I muttered, grabbing a flute of champagne from a passing server. "You're always suspicious before big events." His jaw tightened, but before he could respond, the energy in the room shifted. All eyes turned toward the entrance. I didn't need to look to know who had arrived. She stood at the top of the staircase, a vision in shimmering midnight blue, her smile dazzling under the crystal chandeliers. While I'd spent the last 2 years building the company, she'd mastered the art of stealing the spotlight. A waiter brushed past me, and I caught the tail end of a whispered conversation. Asterisk, she doesn't even see it coming. Asterisk. My grip tightened on the champagne glass. Our father, William Brooks, was already making his way to deliberate care. "You see what I mean now?" I forced a smile, lifting my champagne as if toasting nothing at all. "It's just William being William." But I knew better. Something was happening. Something big. Ward her. His expression softer than I'd seen in years. He clapped a hand on her back and turned to the investors nearby. "My daughter Sam," he announced, voice carrying across the room. "A natural leader, wouldn't you say?" The crowd murmured in approval. Not a single mention of the deal. Not a word about the years I'd poured into making this night possible. The unease in my head grew louder. Derek set his glass down with. I moved through the room, shaking hands, offering practiced smiles. But my mind was elsewhere. The whispers, the sideways glances, Sam's perfect entrance. By the time dessert arrived, I barely touched the chocolate soufflé in front of me. The unease had settled deep in my stomach, heavy and cold. I needed air. Stepping onto the balcony, I inhaled deeply, trying to shake the tension gripping my chest. The city stretched out before me, glittering and endless. But for the first time I felt small. Derek's voice cut through the night. "Maddie, I need to talk to you." Turn. His jaw was set. His hands curled into fists at his sides. "There's something you don't know about tomorrow's board meeting." My pulse skipped. The cold air suddenly felt sharper, like a warning I hadn't seen coming. The next morning I walked into the conference room, and my father's voice stopped me cold. "Maddie, sit down." It was colder than I'd ever heard it. The room was eerily silent, save for the rhythmic ticking of an antique clock on the wall. I scanned the board members. Unreadable faces, heavy air. Anticipation. Tension. Maybe even regret. Sam sat beside William, posture too perfect, lips curled in the faintest smirk. She didn't even pretend to be surprised I was there. This wasn't a meeting. It was an execution. Derek stood in the far corner, arms crossed, face unreadable. But I knew him. His jaw was tight, his stance rigid. He knew what was coming. William cleared his throat. "Maddie, we've made a decision regarding the company's leadership." The room seemed to close in. My fingers tightened around the edge of the chair, knuckles turning white. Sam flipped through a stack of papers, her nails tapping against the polished table. "Brooke and Company needs a leader with a broader vision," she said smoothly. "Someone who understands the corporate world at a strategic level." I blinked. "Excuse me." She finally met my gaze, and for a brief second I saw it, victory dancing in her eyes. "Effective immediately," she continued. "I will be stepping in as the new CEO." The words hit like a slap. Cold. Dark. Breathless. I turned to William, needing him to say something. Anything to stop this. But he just nodded. "This is what's best for the company. I hope you'll understand, Maddie." Understand? My nails dug into the leather of the chair. "You're removing me. After everything I've done for this company?" Sam leaned forward, chin resting on her interlaced fingers. "Did you really think you built this alone?" My stomach twisted. "While you were busy designing products and running day-to-day operations," she said, "I was securing the future. Investors need more than ideas, Maddie. They need leadership, stability, vision." My mouth opened but no words came. William watched me, waiting. But what could I say? That I'd dedicated my life to Brooke and Company. That I'd bled for it, sacrificed for it. That every success they celebrated came at the cost of my time, my energy, my very sense of self. And yet, here I was, disposable. "How long?" My voice was quieter than I meant it to be. Sam arched a brow. "How long have you been planning this?" "Months." The answer sliced through me. I looked around the table, searching for someone, anyone, to contradict this. But the faces staring back were blank. Even Derek, still in his corner, looked away. "Unbelievable," I murmured. William leaned back, clasping his hands. "You'll receive a generous severance package, of course." "A severance package?" My body went cold. Sam waved a hand. "Let's not be dramatic. You'll be well taken care of." I stared at her, chest rising and falling with barely contained fury. "You'll regret this, Sam." Her smirk widened. "Doubtful." The room felt suffocating. I pushed my chair back, the legs scraping against the floor as I stood. No one stopped me. No one called my name. My heels echoed down the marble hall as I walked out. Back straight. In high. But the moment the elevator doors closed, the weight of it all crashed over me. My title gun. My father lost. My sister, now my greatest enemy. The silence was suffocating. This wasn't over. Not even close. "You really thought I'd just walk away?" I said, my voice dangerously calm, meeting Derek in a dimly lit cafe. The scent of fresh coffee hung in the air, but I barely noticed. The city hummed outside the rain-speckled windows, distant and irrelevant. My fingers drummed against the warm ceramic cup, doing little to thaw the ice in my chest. Derek watched me carefully. "Honestly, I wasn't sure," he admitted. "But I know you, Maddie. You don't quit. You don't back down." I let out a slow breath. "Then why do I feel like I've already lost?" He leaned forward. "Because you're still in shock. But this isn't over. Not even close." The weight of his words settled between us. But doubt still gnawed at me. "They humiliated me, Derek. Sam didn't just take my position, she took my legacy. And William, he let her. Derek exhaled sharply. William made his choice. But that doesn't mean it was the right one. I turned to the window, watching headlights blur on the wet pavement. The betrayal played on repeat. Sam's smirk, William's cold nod, the silence of the boardroom as they decided I was disposable. For the first time in my life, I didn't know what came next. "Come on," Derek said suddenly, tapping the table. "We need a plan." Scoff. "A plan to do what?" "Sue my own company. Take Sam to court." She played this too well. She got to the investors first. She had months to prepare. My voice faltered. And I didn't see it coming. Derek didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his briefcase and pulled out a worn manila folder. I frowned. "What's that?" "Your way back in." I hesitated before taking it, flipping it open. The moment my eyes landed on the first page, my breath caught. An old contract, from when I first helped restructure Brooke and Company after our international expansion. My fingers skimmed the familiar legal jargon, memories flooding back. And then I saw it, a clause. Derek tapped a highlighted section with his pen. "You still own 49% of the company, Maddie. And this," he gestured to the clause, "gives you leverage. If Brooke and Company changes its core business model without your consent, you have the legal right to challenge their leadership and reclaim your stake." The words blurred as I processed them. I sat up straighter. "And Sam doesn't know this." Derek's lips twitched. "I doubt she even remembers it exists. She was too busy playing politics while you were actually running the company." For the first time since that morning, something shifted inside me. Spark. A flicker of something dangerous. And familiar. "Oh." I closed the folder and met Derek's gaze. "We need to make sure she takes the bait. She has to make a move that triggers this clause." Derek grinned. "Now that's the Maddie I know." Meanwhile, across the city, in a sleek office with floor-to-ceiling windows, Sam sat behind what used to be my desk. She scrolled through congratulatory emails, barely glancing as an assistant placed fresh coffee beside her. Her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Asterisk. "Your sister built this company's reputation. You just took the title. Prove you deserve it." Asterisk. Her jaw clenched. Victory, it seemed, was more complicated than she'd expected. Back in the cafe, I slipped the contract into my bag. My mind was already racing ahead. This wasn't just about getting my job back. It was about taking everything. "You don't just walk into my office without an appointment, Maddie," Sam hissed when I finally stood before her. But there was a flicker of fear in her eyes. I took my time, letting the weight of my presence fill the space. The office had been redesigned. Sleek black furniture, gold accents, decor that screamed power and control. But beneath it all, I saw the truth. An illusion. I shut the door behind me and crossed the room, heels clicking. "It used to be my office," I said evenly, settling into the chair across from her desk. "I don't need an appointment." Sam leaned back, arm draped over the leather armrest, smirk returning. "You came to beg for your job back. If so, this is just sad." I smiled, slow, deliberate. "I came to remind you that I'm still here." She scoffed, tapping her nails on the glass desk. "You don't have anything left, Maddie. No title. No authority. No leverage." She tilted her head. "You're irrelevant now." I folded my hands in my lap, keeping my face calm. "Then why do you sound nervous?" Her jaw tightened just for a second before she laughed it off. "You're delusional." "Maybe," I said lightly. "Or maybe you're not as untouchable as you think." For the first time, uncertainty flickered in her eyes. Just a crack, but enough for me to see it. She straightened, smoothing her blazer. "You can glare all you want. The fact remains, you lost. Brooke and Company is mine now." I hummed as if considering. "Funny. That's exactly what I used to think." A flash of irritation crossed her face. She'd expected me to crumble, to scream, rage. But I wouldn't give her that. Instead, I rose with quiet indifference. "Enjoy your throne while it lasts, Sam." Nothing stays the same forever. I turned and walked out, leaving her staring after me. The moment I stepped into the hallway, the tension in my muscles finally eased. Employees glanced my way. Some looked away, others offered quiet, sympathetic smiles. I didn't stop. Not yet. Outside, Derek waited by the curb, leaning against his car. "How'd it go?" Exhaled. "She's predictable. That's good for us." Derek tilted his head. I slipped on my sunglasses and smirked. "She's scared." That night, I met Richardson, one of Brooke & Company's biggest shareholders, in a quiet corner of a high-end steakhouse. He swirled his whiskey, studying me with sharp eyes. "So," he said, "what exactly are you proposing?" I took a slow sip of my drink. "A safety net. For you. For the company. We both know Brooke & Company wasn't built on Sam's vision. Investors trusted me to steer the ship. Now she's at the helm, making reckless moves." He stroked his chin. "And what makes you so sure she'll fail?" I set my glass down. "Because she thinks the title makes her untouchable. But the moment she shifts the company's direction without investor consent, that illusion shatters." He didn't answer right away, but I saw the gears turning. He wasn't ready to commit, but he was intrigued. And that was enough. Later that night, Sam sat at her desk, scrolling through reports when her phone buzzed. Another message from an unknown number. "Asterisk. Your sister is making moves. You need to stop her before she gets too far." Asterisk. Sam tightened her grip on the phone. She thought I was gone. But I was just getting started. She thought I'd stay down. She thought I'd disappear quietly, accept the betrayal, and fade into the shadows. But she was wrong, dead wrong. Her laptop screen glows in the dim room, illuminating her face as she starts typing. If I want a war, she's determined to make sure it's one I won't survive. "You need to be careful, Maddie," Derek warns me later, his voice low. "Sam won't hesitate to destroy you if she has to." I stop near the kitchen island, my fingers brushing the cold marble. "She already tried," I mutter. "She stole my company. What more can she possibly do?" There's a pause. Then Derek exhales sharply. "You're underestimating her." I don't answer. Because deep down I know he's right. Across town, in a sleek high-rise office with floor-to-ceiling windows, Sam sits across from a well-dressed man in a charcoal suit. "We need to paint a different picture of Maddie," he says smoothly, flipping through a stack of documents. "If we make people doubt her past leadership, they won't trust her comeback." Sam's lips curl into a slow, satisfied smirk. "And how do we do that?" He leans forward, tapping a finger against the papers. "We control the narrative. Highlight every risk she took, every mistake she made. Make them question whether she was really as competent as they believed." Sam nods once. "Do it." The next morning my phone won't stop buzzing. I rub my temples, then grab it off the counter, bracing myself for whatever fresh hell awaits. Derek's name flashes on the screen. "You need to see this," he says the moment I answer. I open my laptop and pull up Business Insider. My stomach tightens the second I see the headline. Asterisk, was Maddie Brooks' success a lie? Inside the questionable leadership of Brooke & Company. Asterisk. I scan the article, breath-catching. It's a carefully crafted attack. Half-truths, twisted facts, just enough doubt planted to make people wonder. My leadership style is called reckless. My strategies labeled risky gambles. Words like unstable and erratic are sprinkled in with surgical precision. My hands curl into fists. On the TV across the room, CNBC is airing a panel discussion. "The problem with Maddie Brooks," one commentator says, adjusting his tie, "is that she never truly fit the mold of a traditional CEO. She was creative, sure, but creativity doesn't always translate to strong leadership." Another nods. "And let's not forget, Brooke & Company wasn't built in a vacuum. Her sister, Sam Brooks, has been instrumental in stabilizing the company's future." A bitter laugh escapes me. Stabilizing, she stole it. My phone rings again. Maddie, we have a problem, Derek says, voice sharp. Someone leaked internal documents, fake ones. They make it look like you were involved in financial mismanagement before you stepped down. The room tilts slightly. I grip the edge of the counter. What? It's bad, he continues. They're circulating through investor circles. People are starting to question whether you really ran the company as cleanly as you claimed. My pulse hammers in my ears. Sam, it has to be her. I force myself to breathe, pushing down the surge of anger. Can we prove they're fake? We're working on it, Derek says. But perception is everything. And right now, the perception is that you're a liability. I close my eyes for a second, then open them again. She's not just trying to keep my company. She wants my reputation too. She wants to erase me completely. But I won't let her. An hour later, I step into the boardroom of a downtown office. Glass walls reflect the city skyline behind me, but I don't even notice. A major investor is waiting inside. I take a steady breath and step forward, then freeze. Sam is already there. She's sitting at the conference table, legs crossed, a knowing smirk on her face. Eyes locked. This battle just became personal. You didn't think I'd just sit back and watch, did you? She says, crossing her arms. The room is thick with tension. A long mahogany table stretches between us, polished to a mirror shine, reflecting the faces of the investors on either side. I force myself to stay calm, fingers tightening around the back of the chair before I sink into it. Across from me, Sam leans back, every inch of her posture radiating arrogance. Mr. Caldwell, the investor at the head of the table, clears his throat. Maddie, there are serious concerns about your past leadership. Can you explain these financial discrepancies? I meet his gaze.